son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Hello, Patriots. Welcome to the show. Before we begin, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go to buymeacoffee.com/Ryan F. Samuels to donate to the show. And do not forget to share this with your friends, the podcast. Send a link to your friends, family members. Let's get this show out there. Very, very disturbing news recently. The CEO of United Healthcare was just murdered publicly on the Manhattan street corner. Now, this was the killer is a young guy. He used a silencer and a pistol. Everybody thinks because there's a silencer that he's some sort of professional hitman. Because he was calm, he's some sort of professional hitman. That the fact that the gun, quote unquote, jammed and he cleared it, he's some professional hitman. He's not. He's an amateur, and I could tell right away. One of the big things was the first shot hit this guy in the back of the calf when he's like aiming at the back of his head, and he's 10 feet away. That's one indicator. A second indicator is, they're saying because he's using a silencer. Number one, silencers are not hard to get. They are not illegal. You can get them in most states in the country, New York not being one of them. Of course, you can't have anything in New York. However, unfortunately, you can't have a firearm. And one person in this scenario was abiding by the law. Another person was breaking the law. And the one abiding by the law, not having a firearm with them, was the one who wound up deceased. Does that mean he would have survived if he had a gun? Not necessarily, but he damn sure will have had a shot, an opportunity to survive. You should carry a firearm if you're legally capable, if you're of legal age, and you're well trained. Because you never know what's going to happen. Obviously, this is politically motivated. Everybody's like, don't jump to conclusions. Okay, well, he wrote, deny, defy, depose, or I think that's what it is. We'll get to that in just a minute. On the rounds, which is a tactic that the insurance companies use to delay paying for medical procedures for patients. And that stuff is wrong. I don't like that stuff. I hate medical insurance companies. The entire medical insurance system is completely destroyed. I mean, but the CEO, Brian Thompson, he did not create this system. He did not, he's not sitting there personally looking at claims and denying them. He's not directly coming up with these policies. There's thousands of people. There's a board of directors. There's a lot of things that are doing this. And, unfortunately, he paid the price for this, and it's a scary thing. The amount of violence in this country, particularly political violence. We saw it with the attempted assassination of Trump 1, the attempted assassination of Trump 2. We've seen the BLM riots. We've seen Antifa taking over city blocks, and we've seen this kind of political violence. And I'm assuming this is political violence. We don't know for sure, but based on the evidence, it looks like it is. The guy is not a professional. Like I said, you can get a silencer. It's not hard. The reason he is racking the rounds or the gun is jamming. It's not jamming. There's not like a double feed or a failure to eject. It is the rounds he's using and the silencer he's using together do not produce enough gas to pull the slide all the way back. So he's firing, then he has to rack it and fire again in order to use the silencer. They're saying that he did it so smoothly. Yeah, because he practiced. He went out and shot the thing and said, oh, all I have to do is that, and it's going to reload. It's not hard to figure out. A monkey can do that. But the response from Democrats on Blue Sky and social media is in support of the assassin. Not all of them, but a lot of them. We're going to go over some of those comments. It's very disturbing. This is a sad day. We're going to catch this guy. His face is out there. He's not going to be able to hide. New York City's camera system is extremely intricate. I mean, they have every square foot of the city is covered. They have facial recognition software where they could just pop your photo in and it could tell you everywhere you were in the city ever, essentially, all that day or the day before, a week before. It's extremely high tech, which is great if you're looking for crime, but it's bad if you are a government agent abusing it. So we're going to get to that. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And before we begin, let's listen to a word from our sponsor. The best thing in life that you can do always is to be prepared. Be prepared for anything with My Patriot Supply, the leading provider of high-quality, long shelf life emergency food kits designed to empower you and your family to stay self-sufficient during any crisis, ensuring your safety and freedom when it matters most. Be self-reliant with high-quality, long-lasting emergency food in your pantry. My Patriot Supply has a variety of options and is always American made. Don't be caught unprepared. Stock your pantry with My Patriot Supply's emergency food kits, providing nutritious meals for weeks. And even when disaster strikes, you cannot rely on society in an emergency crisis. Get your 3-month supply kit right now by clicking the link in the description or scanning that QR code on this screen. So here is a video that was posted on X, right? This is from End Wokeness, which is a famous Twitter page that you can follow. It's going to show some of the comments on the CNN video of the assassination. Let's watch this.
CNN has obtained new surveillance video from the fatal shooting of the...
So they're playing the video, but they're showing the comments here. And here are the comments from some of the leftists. This is from a guy named Nate. Thoughts and deductibles to the family. Unfortunately, my condolences are out of network. Praying for his speedy escape and long, healthy life. That's the killer.
The United Healthcare CEO. We do want to warn you that the video is, of course...
Thoughts and prior authorizations from Laura Liu. Thoughts and copays to the family.
CNN Bryn Gingras joins
Sending
us. Bryn,
thoughts and
take
copays.
us through
this was
video.
Out of pocket.
Yeah, Phil and Brianna. So we are only showing a few seconds of this video that CNN obtained. Obviously,
these comments are straight brutal. Somebody wrote, "This is Kat. I had septicemia and they denied me a PICC line for my 2-day Vanco treatments. Sat in the ER a lot for 8 hours fighting with them. I ended up in the ICU."
Obviously, because it is very alarming to watch.
Sending thoughts and concepts of prayers.
Essentially, what we see in that video is...
I'm impressed by how good he executed this hit. It's flawless. The only part missing is the CEO didn't get a chance to see who cut his TV off. He was just walking and it ended out of nowhere.
The CEO, United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, walking...
Just completed my open enrollment at work last week and felt disgusted at the amount I had to pay for the next to nothing benefits I receive. It just seems criminal to me.
Toward the hotel here behind me.
Please hold.
And behind him comes the suspected gunman that police...
Thoughts and deductibles to the family. No one will talk. Oh, that's terrible.
So you can see how he approaches...
Wow, just wow, our society's broken. This is an overwhelming response from the left side of the aisle. And this, you know, the left is only outraged at things that oppose them, and anything opposing the left is acceptable to be killed or committed violence against or put in prison with wrong charges. And I think that this is a very important conversation that we need to have. No, murdering this guy is not okay. And the police are going to find the guy. It's going to happen if they haven't already and just haven't released it or haven't been notified yet. But he's gonna be caught. Here is a video from Real America's Voice talking about the situation.
Find this morning that in fact those shell casings were left on purpose, and there was writing on the casings that said deny, defend, depose, words that echo the title of a 2010 book called Delay, Deny, Defend, Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Claims and What You Can Do About It. Well, boys and girls, if you go over to X right now, or particularly to Blue Sky, you can find all sorts of posts and tweets celebrating what this individual, this heinous individual, did to commit a cold-blooded murder of a businessman who's married and has 2 children on the street. They're saying we need to kill more CEOs. They're saying we need to go after Elon Musk next, again and again. This is actual retributive violence that they have against their perceived enemies. And this is very similar, this reaction to everything that we predicted in Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them, that came out earlier this year, that said the far left is going to start rising up and killing people in the street and celebrating it. And so we explained that these grievance revenge fantasies are something that the far left absolutely engages in. It is in so much of their media. And you see this individual, now we don't know whether there was a direct political motive, but the fact that there was a political message left on the casings definitely is a clue in that direction. And yet we see him with a designer backpack, designer hoodie, designer sneakers, all while committing this heinous act. And the far left is celebrating it. And let me tell you something, folks. This is what they do. And
this is what they do. And, you know, it's the same conversation we've had on this show. And it's something that you all need to be aware of. Everybody. You need to protect yourselves. You need to protect your family. You need to make sure that you have a firearm, that you train with that firearm, that you carry that firearm with you legally. Okay? You need to do what's best for you and your family for defense purposes. The notion that this, we saw this with the assassination of Donald Trump. People saying, you know, oh, we were an inch away from victory, or, you know, all of these insane, deplorable, and I'll use that term, comments about political violence are atrocious. And yeah, they're on the right side of the aisle too. They are. You know, what's good for the goose is what's good for the gander. But recently, in the past few years, it has been way more escalated on the right side of the aisle. Here's the CBS News New York report on the assassination.
We have breaking news at noon. Police have released pictures of a man wanted for questioning in connection with the shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. They were just taken at a hostel on the Upper West Side a short time ago. CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge is live on the scene with the very latest for us. Natalie?
Well, Chris, the latest happening here is we just spoke to a tourist in the last couple of minutes staying at this hostel. This is the American Youth Hostel, 891 Amsterdam. They stay overnight. 2 police officers came in and questioned several people. Now, this comes as police released new pictures taken here of a person of interest they want to question. The NYPD is not calling this person the suspect, but they would like to interview them. Now, let's walk through.
They never call him the suspect. He is the suspect. Staying at a hostel, which would indicate that he's from out of town, that he doesn't live or reside in New York City. I could have told you that by the silencer. He probably lives in a state where you can get those. May even have it registered to him because you have to get an ATF tax stamp for that. Came in town, specifically waited outside of the hotel for this CEO to murder him. And he, very young, your early 20s, white guy, early 20s. I mean, who knows? Could be a girl in this situation. Could be a transitioned person. Don't know. Definitely have some feminine features. But that's basically what we know so far. Now, they did this video, this still shot. They do have a picture of his full face, which means they're going to run it through facial recognition software, and they're going to be able to. I would be incredibly surprised if they did not have this suspect identified by tomorrow or by the end of the weekend, without a doubt.
Through what we do know from the latest from this investigation, CBS obtained surveillance video of the suspect riding a bike leaving Central Park about 15 minutes after the shooting. Where did he go after that? That is one of the key questions. Sources say police are still hoping this image showing the suspect wearing all black and that distinctive backpack taken at a...
So that bike, I have a huge following in New York City. I get like 2,000 downloads on almost every city from Manhattan alone on the podcast. Those are like, if you live in a rural area, I know I got a lot of followers in Oklahoma, the Midwest, Nevada, Colorado. A lot of these big cities, they have bikes that you rent, right? And if you want to rent a bike, you have to use like a credit card. But so this person got this rental bike, this electric bike, and is now cruising down the street on it.
A Starbucks minutes before the shooting that it may have captured enough of the suspect's face to run it through facial recognition programs. And another development, CBS News has learned from law enforcement sources that shell casings found at the scene had the words deny, defend, depose meticulously written in Sharpie. Investigators believe this could be a reference to what's called the 3 Ds of insurance, a known reference made by critics of the health insurance industry. It is still unclear why the gunman targeted the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in the first place.
I love how they find that in the news. Like, they're just trying to make sure they don't speak and be wrong. But you know, like, obviously this is politically motivated with the deny, defend, depose written on the ammunition used to kill him. Like, obviously it is. It's clearly politically motivated. Do we know that for sure? No. What is the probability that is not the case? Below 1%.
Police are combing electronics to find out if there were any threats against the 50-year-old. Thompson is a father of 2 from Minnesota. He was in town for an investors conference when he was shot. The NYPD is working with authorities in Minnesota to determine where the victim is from, to dig deeper into any specific threats against him. And police sources say detectives have uncovered rantings against Big Pharma directed at United Healthcare, but no threats to Thompson's personal safety specifically. A short while ago, we spoke to Rodney Harrison, former NYPD, who says this was all clearly planned, but not perfect.
There were some things that he did wrong. Once again, his phone was left behind. We believe that it may be connected to him. Once again, is how his face was covered, but at one point it was exposed, which, you know, it will help out with being identified through facial recognition.
Now, again, a motive for the shooting remains a mystery. Police fanned out across the city looking for clues. Back out here on this hostel on the Upper West Side. Again, just minutes ago, we spoke to a tourist who said there was some police activity here, and we are still looking to speak to other people who work at the hostel here, and that's what we'll be doing in the next coming minutes. On the Upper West Side, Natalie Duddridge, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Natalie, thank you. And the CEO of United Health Group, which has United Healthcare under its umbrella, shared a message to employees following Thompson's death.
There are no words to describe how so many of us are feeling right now. Brian was a truly extraordinary person who touched the lives of countless people throughout our organization and far beyond. It's a terrible tragedy, and I know we are in shock and disbelief. Our hearts are with his family. Please keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and be...
Yeah, do that. He's got, I mean, the guy's got 2 sons and a wife that he left behind. And it's just horrible. And the left is celebrating, just like the Palestinians celebrated on 9/11, dancing in the streets. Here's Fox News.
We're getting brand new photos of the suspected gunman behind the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Now, you can see the suspect on your screen right now to the left.
Now, the picture on the left, it kind of looks like a chick or just a really feminine dude.
Of your screen without a mask and smiling. To the right, a little bit more of his facial features from the lower half. And at this hour, the manhunt is still actively underway, and investigators are still trying to piece together a possible motive. And now a new report revealing that chilling messages were discovered on the bullet casings found at the scene. Alexis McAdams has the latest, has been following this minute one. Alexis, what have we been learning?
Hey, Emily. Well, we know, right, from being around here right near Fox News headquarters, there are lots of cameras here in Midtown Manhattan. And there were also some cameras nearby in the Upper West Side where I'm told by a police source those new videos and photos were taken. So I want to pull them up there on your screen because you can really see this guy's face now. The New York Post is reporting that those photos were taken at a nearby hostel where they believe this gunman was staying. As you mentioned, he's got that green jacket on and the black mask pulled down. That matches what he was wearing the morning of the shooting just yesterday when he killed this father of two and husband. That was exactly the jacket. And then you can see him there, too, where the hood's pulled down a little bit and he's got a backpack on. Back out here live, there's new pieces of evidence that just keep rolling in. So for everyone watching at home that weren't sure if they were going to be able to track this killer down, they're getting pretty close to it from what we're hearing on the ground because they have his face. And then they also have some DNA evidence that they're working on to process, we're told by two police sources. But one of the things, Emily, that's new is that there were some etched in markings and messages on those bullets that were found here at the Hilton behind me. Pull those up there. That's deny, depose, and defend. Those were the words that they're saying from the police department they found on the shell casings left behind. The words are similar to a title of a book that condemns the insurance business. The book is called Delay, Deny, and Defend, so it's a little bit different, but you kind of get the gist there. It was written back in 2010 and just rips the insurance industry for their lack of coverage for many Americans. The shooting was caught on camera. That was the first initial evidence they had in the case. You can see the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson, walking there. Then he shot. We freeze it, but he was actually hit in the leg. He kind of turned around and looked at that gunman. The guy didn't stop shooting. He shot him again, this time in the chest. We were told he was waiting there for Brian Thompson. I want to pull up some new other photos that we've been getting into the newsroom. This is the gunman there for anyone watching at home that might recognize him. He was at a Starbucks before he went to this shooting scene. We were told he bought a drink, threw something out in the trash, and that's what they're using right now to try and go through that evidence to track him down. Brian Thompson led one of the biggest health insurers in the country. He worked for United Healthcare for about 20 years. The 50-year-old was a dad of two young boys who are in high school out in Minneapolis area, and he was also a husband. Thompson was only supposed to be here in New York for a couple of days because he was supposed to speak at this Investors Day conference at the Hilton Hotel in Midtown, and his visit ended here with his death. And back out here live, you just gotta think too for a second. We're right before the holidays in New York City and all across the country, and this mom and these two sons find out, Emily, in Minneapolis, you know, their dad's not coming home from a business trip. He left to fly here on Monday. So it's really a sad.
So where is Kamala Harris coming out and saying that she does not support this, that she is denouncing this act? Where are the celebrities denouncing this act of violence, this act of political violence? Where is it? You're not going to see it because they don't necessarily disagree with it. And that's the problem. Here is the NYPD press conference after the shooting first happened. Let's listen to this.
In Midtown Manhattan early this morning, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot and killed in what appears, at this early stage of our investigation, to be a brazen, targeted attack. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind and fired several rounds, striking the victim at least once in the back and at least once in the right calf. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. The suspect fled first on foot, then on an e-bike, and was last seen in Central Park on Center Drive early this morning. The victim was removed to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced. We've been in touch with his family, his friends, and his colleagues, and they are very much in our thoughts and prayers at this hour. The full investigative efforts of the New York City Police Department are well underway, and we will not rest until we identify and apprehend the shooter in this case. The women and men of the NYPD take enormous pride in the work that they do each day and each night to drive down crime and violence in our city. Right now, we are asking the public for your help. If you have any information about this case, call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. We have increased the reward in this case to $10,000. I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. Millions of people will be enjoying the tree lighting tonight, among other holiday events, and the NYPD will be out there with them, keeping them safe. For some preliminary details about today's tragic incident, I pass it over to our Chief of Detectives, Chief Joe Kenny.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Nothing we didn't really know about the situation, but as of now, this person is still at large. Did he kill himself? Who knows? You know, I mean, possibly. Did this person have a direct connection with somebody whose claim was denied by United Healthcare, or is this just some left-wing lunatic who got too involved on Blue Sky or Twitter and is now taking actions of political violence? Let's listen to the Chief of Detectives talk about the case.
The information I'm about to give you is preliminary as our investigation is continuing. This morning at 6:46 a.m., patrol officers from Midtown North Precinct responded to a 911 call of a person shot in front of the Hilton Hotel located at 1335 Avenue of the Americas. This is between West 53rd Street and West 54th Street. At 6:48 a.m., officers arrive and find the victim, Brian R. Thompson, a 50-year-old male, on the sidewalk in front of the Hilton with gunshot wounds to his back and leg. Mr. Thompson was removed by EMS to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 7:12 a.m. Mr. Thompson is the CEO of United Healthcare and resides in Minnesota. Detectives from Night Watch, Midtown North Detective Squad, and Manhattan South Homicide responded to the scene and began their investigation. What we know is that the shooter arrived at the location on foot about 5 minutes prior to the victim's arrival. He stands alongside the building line as numerous other people and pedestrians pass him by. From video, we see at 6:44 a.m., the victim is walking alone towards the Hilton after exiting his hotel across the street. We believe the victim was headed to the Hilton Hotel to attend the United Health Group Investors Conference that was scheduled to start at 8 a.m. The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing...
I love how they say light skin. They can't say white or black. Light skin, dark skin, whatever. I mean, we don't know. Like, the guy looks white on camera with a girl. We'll figure out that part later. I'm interested to see. Very feminine looking in that one picture. But I just thought that was funny.
Wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack. The shooter steps onto the sidewalk from behind the car. He ignores numerous other pedestrians, approaches the victim from behind, and shoots him in the back. The shooter then walks toward the victim and continues to shoot. It appears that the gun malfunctions as he clears the jam and begins to fire again. The shooter then flees on foot northbound into an alleyway between 54th Street and 55th Street. Once at West 55th Street, the shooter continues to walk westbound on Avenue of the Americas, where he gets onto an electric e-city bike and rides northbound on the Avenue of Americas towards Central Park, where at 6:48 a.m. we have the shooter riding this bike into Central Park at Center Drive. At the scene, we recover 3 live 9mm rounds and 3 discharged 9mm shell casings. The motive for this murder currently is unknown, but based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted. But at this point, we do not know why. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. We are seeking information from the public to help identify the shooter. As the Commissioner said, we have upped the reward up to $10,000 for information You're urged to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. All information will be kept anonymous. Thank you very much.
All right, well. So the bike is going to be a huge lead. They got to find the bike, right? So they tracked it into Central Park. They have to find the bike. They're working with the company that's got GPS on it to find out who it was and who actually rented the bike, because all of that stuff is registered. You have to use like a credit card to do it. It's not like you can stick $1 in it or something. Although I haven't been in Manhattan in a long time, so maybe there is something where it's untraceable. I highly doubt that. The bike that you rent is going to be the one that's registered to your name, so you can't just steal it or something. They have GPSs on them. They can be cut off. They'll be notified if they leave the area. There's a ton of different security measures in place, but that bike is going to be one of the biggest leads. Also, Starbucks. He went to a professional hitman doesn't go to Starbucks and then buy a cup of coffee, leave his DNA in the trash, and then leave. That's not what a pro does. They do the job. They get out of there. They get changed. They change vehicles and they move on. And nobody saw them. Nobody knows who they are. They never got their face. Whatever. But we're going to continue to follow this story, see where it goes. We're still waiting on the Daniel Penny jury trial. The jury is still out. They have not come to a conclusion. Daniel Penny, of course, is the Marine, a fellow Marine of mine, that subdued a man on the subway who was threatening to hurt people and murder people and kill people. That he held him down and the guy died. Also, another situation where the suspect was on, fentanyl and all sorts of drugs and mentally ill, going after him and trying to put him away for life. The jury is still deliberating. We are going to stay on to that story. But thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're on the podcast, download the episode. My New York City people, thank you so much for all your support. Like I said, we get about 2,000 downloads per episode in Manhattan alone. Thank you. I hope you guys find this guy. Anybody who has information, please call the Crime Stoppers. Notify police immediately, and always protect yourselves and your family. God bless you. God bless our troops, and God bless the United States. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.